Hey, everybody, how is it going? Welcome to another episode of the Top 10 Show. I am John Roca.
I am Matt Nost, and welcome into another week here in festive quarantine. Beautiful. If you're watching this over at youtube.com/the Top 10 Podcast, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Watch over there. We got nice Christmas decorations up. It's that most wonderful time of the year. Have you guys done much around the house?
Yeah, actually, surprisingly so. And Lindley is like one of these people that like Christmas was not a big deal in her house. So it's a thing that we've been working on over the last couple of years together. Like we got our first tree, and that was something that she hadn't done before, or she would get plastic trees. So I was like, no, we're gonna get a real tree. Blah, blah,
Hell
blah.
yes.
But once she gets into it, she's really like all about it. And so it's just like we've got to. So next year, I think there'll be more of the like watching Christmas movies. That's something she does not like. She's hesitant to do or not big to do. But this year, we got our Christmas tree early, right after Thanksgiving. There's a tree place like literally 2 minutes away. We just went over there and picked out a great tree, and she decorated it within a couple of days. We went through this store called At Home, and we picked out like what was the color scheme we want to go with. And this year is more of like the foresty, like what you see behind me, like the red and black kind of combo with that Santa there, all of that. That's the vibe we went for. And so we got ourselves like I think it's a 12-foot tree or something like that. So we got a pretty big
wow.
tree.
You got a 12-foot tree?
Yeah. Our ceilings are pretty high in the house that we renting here in San Diego. So we got a 12-foot one. Tied it to the top of my fucking Prius and drove it all the way. We got it at the Home Depot. It wasn't like too bad, price wise. But they cut it down. It was about 110 on the tree. So not too bad for a 12-footer.
There's a Home Depot in Burbank off Flower.
Yeah.
Just south of that IKEA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we were looking for like tree options, and we went to that one and to Lowe's and a couple other places. And walking in, they're the only one that I saw it at because we went to 3 different Home Depots.
Yeah.
They had $900 trees, 3 of them.
Holy.
Set up by the entrance. They're fucking huge, but they're like 20 footers.
Right.
Just these massive trees, but there's 3 of them. Like 2 of them, I think, were the same variety, like a Douglas fir, and another one was a Royal Pine or some shit like that. I can't remember.
Right.
But they were all roughly the same size. It was $8.99, $8.99, and $8.99. You're like, wow, what the fuck is buying this thing in the middle of a quarantine? But apparently, where there's demand, it's the only place I saw it at. And I was like, or they got stuck with it.
Yeah, dude, there are some people that take this shit.
Oh yeah,
super seriously, man. Like I'm sorry, not a 12-footer, sorry, a 10-footer, not a 10-footer. But like I saw people who like apparently at this place, they will dust your tree to make it white. Like even your pine tree, you can pay for that service. Apparently it's like $60 or something like that. And they will dust your tree. But that shit like leaves stains all over the place. So I get it, but it's weird.
I don't like it personally, just as an aesthetic.
Okay.
Because that to me is just over the why. It looks like the 1960s when you see the fake trees.
Yeah.
Put that on, it just makes me instantly think it's not real.
Right.
B, this thing's already in 3 weeks going to be a tinderbox. What? Let's add chemicals that are flammable. I bet you now they have more fire retardant versions, whatnot.
Sure.
Can't be adding chemicals in general. Probably not a good idea to the tinderbox. But yeah, we just got a little 6-footer because we're taking it with us at one point to transport when we're spending, doing a little close family Christmas.
Nice.
We're going to bring our tree with us, and then it just dies after that. But it just saves from buying another tree for one day type of like, wow, we'll just bring ours, but this will fit back in my car. There's going to be fucking pine needles everywhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
That's the exchange. You have to vacuum.
Yeah.
Once a day or every couple of days to kind of get the pine needles off, and you have to water it. There's upkeep on the trees.
Oh yeah,
on the tree as well. That like is part.
But you get that nice tree smell.
Oh yeah, I love the pine smell.
It really makes it festive as shit.
Yeah. And Matt, for me, Matt, this is the first time I'm doing Christmas in a house since like I lived with my parents, and so
wow, really?
So there's like this extra meaning this year for me that I think and we've got a fireplace like in the house. There's the fireplace. So
you gonna use it?
No, I'm probably not gonna, but like it's nice to have it. Maybe
We've
we'll
got one
use
too.
it.
We're never going to use it.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we'll use it on Christmas night as like, kind of a fun thing to do for like an hour because I'm afraid we'll set the whole house on fire. But like it's gas powered, so it's like you turn it on and then
Oh,
it
sure.
comes up. So maybe it's easy to manage. But either way, it's just a kind of nice significance for me and for her. Like we're doing this in a house for the first time in a while, and it's nice. And she decorated the whole place out. Like she's put reindeer stuff outside and shit like that. The thing though, dude, living here, let me tell you, bro, people are like super into it here. They've strung lights across the houses, and everyone's got these lights. We walked out the other night. We went to Target late at night. And we were like, "Ah, shit, man, we really dropped the ball here as like part of this residential area. Like next year, if we're still here, we have to string
Yeah.
up lights, man."
Yeah. I strung up two strands of, they're 273 feet long, but it's 800 LED lights.
Mm,
And
right.
I've got 2 strands of those on the outside of the house.
Yeah. See?
So
But you like doing that shit. I'm like Clark Griswold. I'm an incompetent buffoon putting this shit up, and I'm scared I'm just gonna put like staples in my hand or staples in the fucking house that's gonna cost us money to repair and
I
shit.
wouldn't use a staple gun personally.
see, you see the difference?
Well, if that's your default is a comedy of errors, you might want to investigate just a little bit more. There's a reason they're showing you the Keystone Cops version. Like, you shouldn't do it like this.
Fair point, man.
No, I took a drill. I bought little 5/8 brass hooks, those tiny little ones. You can buy a box of 100 for a few bucks at Home Depot, and just put a little small hole in, screwed that in, and just did that, and then hung, and just moved, did that, hung, and just did it around until it took a couple hours because it's just one step at a time, but it's not hard.
I think if I figured it out, I probably wouldn't have a problem doing it. It's just nerves of trying to figure it out because I don't want to fuck shit up. I can be an absolute buffoon, man, honestly, and I have stepped through shit. And I'm super self-conscious about like breaking shit because I've broken shit in the past. I've sat on chairs and broken them, and so it's those things kind of mess with me when I start to do handiwork like this.
Okay.
And then I worry about it. But if I could figure out how to do it and I felt comfortable, pop it in the headphones for 2 fucking hours and hang it. That wouldn't even be a problem for me, right? Once I'm confident in doing something,
dude,
I don't mind spending hours doing it.
The worst is, so I did it down on the units down below, right?
Right.
And across the front of the house, I had to do one big droop because this big window doesn't open. And I was I'm leaning out to drill these in and to hang it. And I'm not leaning out to put one over there. It's just not happening. And I've got an extension ladder, but it doesn't go that high. So just like for this, and then I got on the roof on the other side, and because it's two pitched roofs.
Yeah.
And I managed to pull it through, but it had one big droop, and every other one I systematically put at the rafters so that there was a consistency to it. And Catherine came home and she was like, "Yeah, it looks like it came out at one spot." And I was like, "Oh, I can't. That's the best I can do unless we want to go tight." And she's like, "I mean, we don't have to change it." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" The only part that is treacherous and was like, "I really would. You really want to? I mean, I think it would just look better." Oh, son of a gun. So I had to like do it all, it honestly took a minute and a half.
Yeah.
But it's the only part that was the reason I did that.
Oh, that's so funny, man.
She was like, you don't have to. That sounds like you really feel like I have to.
Yeah.
That really sounds like I'm going to be on this damn roof again. Initially, she was like, "You could just hang over the side." I'm like, I'm not, army crawling down to the edge of this roof and then reaching an arm on. No, that's not happening. So we'll find another solution.
I mean, it's totally fine.
Exactly. She wasn't demanding or anything like that. She's just like, "Well, it's the rest of it." So
yeah.
That just looks weird, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, I know what you're saying, but
today Lindley decorated like a majority of the house out of the blue. Like we've had decorations sitting in the garage. She went to like a bunch of places on Saturday and like was like buying shit and whatever. I don't know. Like I'm like, well, how much do you need? Whatever. And she goes, no, I like doing this. So she goes off, and I got to relax on Saturday, but she came back with all this shit, and nothing had been put up. And apparently, and last night she's on a new like sleeping kick. Last night she slept like fucking 12 hours, got up, and she's got all this spirit now. I walked out of the room because I was in the office for like an hour working on some shit. I walked out of the room, the entire fucking living room is done. And I was like, holy shit, how did you do this in like an hour? And it looks great. And it's subtle. It's like, it's got enough stuff, but it's not overdone.
Yeah.
Which is great because both of us have that sensibility about it, or that aesthetic rather. And so it looks fantastic. It looks great, you know? So I love it that she gets into it. We just got to get her onto the Christmas movies next, because I hate that I can't watch Christmas movies with her, man. It drives me nuts.
Still, though, her having never really gotten a tree works in your favor, because that's the only time it's the only difference we had. Like on the decorations, we agree, and just like, let's put that over there and this over here. And what about this here? Great, go for it. But the tree, she wanted to get like this little Charlie Brown pathetic tree. And I'm like, I'm not getting that. Yeah. I'm not getting, that's not a Christmas tree. It's a cute. She's like, it's so cute though. And I'm like, we have to take this with us to the family Christmas. And there's going to be 2 little kids there. There's like 8 of us. And so 20 some odd percent or whatever that is, 25% of the people there are going to be young enough to where they're going to look at that and think Christmas died. So why don't we get a tree? Oh, you know, she was like, you're putting your foot down about the tree. And I was like, yes. We'll just get a standard Christmas tree.
I think that's awesome.
It was
the hill you're dying on. Yes.
It was sorry. It was already sad, and it was fully alive.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. In 3 weeks, it's gonna look pathetic.
Yeah,
just so bad. It's already thin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Its hairline is receding. Do we want to watch this thing recede to bald? Do we? I don't.
No.
And I don't want to pay, $50, $60 for a little 6-foot tree and watch it do that.
Right. This isn't an animated show. This is real life. In real life, those things aren't as cute.
No, it's cute if we just had it like as a second tree. If you want to get a second tree, let's get a second tree. But it's like, yes, that's.
Yeah. I think she tried that last year, and I was like, no, we're doing a real fucking tree.
What, plastic or Charlie Brown?
She wanted to do like a 3-foot tree, like we could put on the table. And I was like, honey,
we had to do this size because we have to fit it in my car eventually to transport.
Right.
And
my argument was, what? No, she's like, well, we're just going to get rid of it in 4 weeks. I'm like, no, you're looking at this all wrong. You've got to get a really good tree so that you can have it kind of lift up your spirits every time you walk into the room.
It needs to be a presence in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Has to be.
It does. If it's a little 3-footer, you can kind of like, you can put it on top of something. Oh, isn't that cute? And they're like, that's not a tree.
Right.
No,
that's a tree.
I wish I was like you when, because, we have 6-footer. Once again, it's got to fit inside. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, my house, so it was like really old. They build them in just weird dimensions that you don't build houses in anymore. Mm-hmm. But when you walked in, the front little open, area was this small room. But it was like 20 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It matched nothing else in the rest of the house as far as design. Every other room was roughly normal size. And you just walked in. It was like, and it had a little, pitched roof at the top type of thing. And it was the stairs to go up. And then on the left was the living room, and the kitchen was behind it. And it was just this room that existed for no fucking, it took up so much real estate in the house.
Right.
But my parents would buy the 12-footers, the 14-footers, and just like, that's a tree, man. That is a tree. That $1,000 tree, I looked at it, I was like, that's what it looked like as a kid.
Wow. Yeah, right.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way my parents paid $1,000 or whatever the equivalent of in 1986 was.
Yeah.
But that's what it felt like as a 6-year-old, 7-year-old. I'm like, look at this tree. But it was probably like a 14-footer. Still.
Right.
Still impressive.
Yeah. My dad hated like real trees. We had a plastic tree we'd bring down from the fucking attic and attach the pipes.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Oh, I mean, I just hated that. So one time, I think in my late teens, I convinced him to get a real tree. We got a real tree, and it was great to have it. But like the constant upkeep, both my mom and my dad were just like, fuck this. So,
they're set in their ways.
I swore. Oh, speaking of which, here's my mom. I swore I'd when it was my turn to have trees, I would buy. So every year for the last.
You don't fucking get me. You don't get my Christmas. I agree, man. It's tree or it's nothing.
Yeah, you gotta have the
Tree or it's nothing. Yeah, don't put up a fake one because it's fake. What's the point? What are we in a department store?
Right. And listen, by the way, anybody listening to us who likes fake trees or, because a lot of the time it's because,
good on you.
can't afford these trees. We're not judging.
That's where they were raised with.
Yeah, exactly.
And they didn't rebel like you did, like the bad boy that you are.
Yeah, right. The outlaw.
It's this is real Christmas, Mom. You don't fucking get it.
What's this? I'd be enjoying if this wasn't a plastic tree, Mom. Thanks for the gift, though.
My parents do that now, though. They have a tree that folds into like a duffel bag. I'm serious. It's a big duffel bag. It's a nice fake tree. But at the end of the day, how is this Christmas? You pull in this big, massive duffel bag and open it up and then start assembling. It's just like, this is not Christmas. You know it's not Christmas. But my mom goes all out, though. She wraps garland around the stairwell, like the banister.
Oh, right, yeah.
Anywhere that she can get away where it's not like over too much, she's wrapping garland. She's putting this up. Like she's got full on Christmas tchotchkes. Yeah. But the fake tree just kills me. I don't. But it's just so much easier for them because they don't have little kids anymore. So there's no point in having tree up for a month.
It's extra work. Why do that for yourself if it's not really a big deal to you? Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, I'm sure they put up decorations like 2 weeks out as opposed to when we were kids, right after Thanksgiving, like decorations are coming.
Yeah.
Christmas is getting close.
Right.
Need to start being on my best behavior.
I just hope I get something.
Yeah.
I rewatched Klaus. I know we got to get into the show, man. I rewatched Klaus the other day. Have you seen that yet, Klaus? The one on Netflix, the animated one?
We do have a certain show coming up.
Never mind. Never you mind.
Yeah. No point in anyway,
let's get into the show.
I don't know what you're talking about. So back to the real way to celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you have ornaments? Do you like go out to Target and buy a bunch of randoms? Or?
She does. And I trust her, dude. I can't, once again, I can't design worth a shit. Like I do the best I can to my limited ability. Like the tree, she did all that. She decorated all that. And this I picked out though, like the Happy Holidays one, the Merry Christmas one, the Santa.
What about the construction paper looped garland in the background?
That was her that she gave me.
It's fun. It's crafty. That's kind of what Christmas is. It's about that to me. It's like I don't want all the shiny, plasticky, the painted house. Someone just took off the 17 live, laugh, love signs that they get at Target, and they put up 15 Christmas ones. Like that to me is not at Christmas either. It's if you want to make crafts, go for it. It's Christmas.
Yeah.
Put up a bunch of garland, like, the Jim Gaffigan bit, Christmas seems like it was designed by a drunk person. Like, let's bring the tree inside. But the garland, like, throw that up. Go for it. You got a bunch of ornaments that you bought over the years type of thing. Like,
we have a box. We certainly have a box
of
ornaments we've accumulated over the last 2 years. So, but I was going to put tinsel, and she's like, don't fucking do tinsel. And so I was like, all right.
I agree with her. I don't like tinsel either.
Yeah, she hates tinsel.
But I'm not against it like I am the fake snow. The fake snow I don't understand. It just looks too fake.
Yeah. It's weird.
It stains
everything. Yeah.
How many times did you open gifts outside at Christmas? Never.
What do you mean? Why? Yeah, exactly.
Why do I need to replicate the snow inside? It's like, it doesn't. We're inside. I don't understand this charade, but okay.
Yeah. It's different if it actually snows where you're at. Maybe you can get away with that, right? Because you get the vibe of seeing the snow outside and seeing the snow.
You and I both grew up somewhere where there was a potential for it to be a white Christmas.
True.
And never once did I go, hey, we need to have fake snow on the tree inside too.
I didn't even know it was possible, to be honest with you. I thought they were made that way, because I've only seen the plastic ones. I thought they were made that way.
It's like spray foam back in the day.
Right. So when I saw them actually taking them, and it's the first time I'd ever seen this in my advanced years, I saw them take a fir tree or a pine tree or whatever it is, and they were dusting it with white shit. I'm like, what? That's how they do it for the real shit? So Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, that's a step too far in terms of the delusion of a snowy Christmas, So
Yeah.
especially in California, for God's sake.
Hey, to each their own, though.
Yeah, absolutely, of course.
Like if that's what you want, but to me, that is anathema to what Christmas is.
Right. Good for you. Good for you. All right. Let's get into our show here, man. We're doing the top 10 body swap movies, and this came up because we were having the conversation on last week's show, and we had said how that could be a fun topic, and then afterwards Matt texted me and he's like, you know what, let's do that. Let's just jump into that. Let's have a little fun doing that. And it kind of coincides with the recent release of Freaky, the new
little bit,
horror, with Vince Vaughn and I can't remember the actress's name. They switch bodies, and he's a serial killer who switches bodies into the teenage girl's body, and he's killing her friends and teachers, and she's trying to get back there, even though she is the body of the serial killer. The cops are pursuing her, so she's got to elude the cops and these other people to try to convince her friends that she's actually trapped in the serial killer's body, and that they have 24 hours before it becomes permanent, so they got to switch it back. And apparently it's a really fun film, so at some point hopefully I'll watch it or get a screening link for it and to do a review of it. But it looks, and Vince Vaughn doing the cheerleader stuff, it's great to see him do a little bit of humor now. I like it. So
that's all I've seen. There was a clip on Twitter. Is he doing that in a kitchen, like an industrial kitchen?
Yeah, it's like they're down in the kitchen, like maybe it's the school kitchen or whatever. And
I've just seen that 5 to 10 seconds or whatever it is. That's all I've seen.
Looks fun.
What streaming service is it on? Amazon or Hulu, Netflix?
Yeah, so I saw it on Amazon last night, so you can buy it on Amazon. But I'm hoping I can reach out to one of the publicists and maybe I can get a shot at.
I figured it'd be on free as part of a subscription with someone, but it's not.
No, it's $20 right now.
Yeah. Wow, really?
Yeah, you have to. It's $17.99 on Amazon Prime. On Apple TV, I think it's $20 to watch it. I think so. Because I'm looking at all the apps for it's $20, $19.99 on Apple TV. So it's not in any way cheap. So, but it's a first run film. So
yeah, just with no domestic box office to speak of to buoy it. I don't know how much of a groundswell to see it at that price point there's going to be. Is Vince Vaughn a box office draw anymore, let alone a streaming service draw?
Yeah, I don't know that he is. That's a great point.
I mean, he still could be.
Yeah.
But that's asking a lot in this. Now we're inundated sitting at home, and you need to break through the clutter with a Vince Vaughn serial killing, body swapping movie. Like it could work, but
right.
Movie had to be awesome.
Apparently it's showing. Oh, fuck. No, this is weird, man. Living in San Diego or near
there's shit open. Okay, so you can see it somewhere?
Yeah, no, but the place I can see it is in Mexico. It's in
Oh, where at?
Rosarito.
Okay. Go down and get yourself some lobster. See a movie?
Bro, I am not driving across the fucking border to see any movie, let alone this one.
I've been to Rosarito.
Me too. One time.
Once. I went with one of my oldest and closest friends was born in Tijuana. So I will only go to Mexico with him now just because I've been twice with a bunch of other non-Latino looking people and been harassed by the cops.
Shit's no joke, man.
Yeah.
Shit's no joke.
Everybody else was fine. Like there were a couple bar owners that try and take advantage of us, but we were tourists. You know what I mean? Right. It wasn't malicious. They were trying to squeeze an extra $1 or $2 out of us.
Sure.
And giving us lower alcohol content Corona when they knew damn well, because they have like the standard and then they have one that's like a 3.4.
Right.
So you end up having to drink more of them, and they didn't. I noticed it, and I was like, "Wait, what is this?" And the guy was like, "Oh, wrong bucket," and just like oh, my bad. That was for somebody. That was for another table. Let me get you the real ones. So like, all right, that's fine. I know what you're trying to do.
My bad.
Yeah, just no harm, no foul, and you're like, that's fine. If that's as bad as it's going to get, that's every tourist kind of area.
Right.
So who gives a shit? They're all trying to make a buck.
Yep. Agreed. We went down for a friend's bachelor party. I think I've told this story before to you, like where I was at the time when I was fucking dirt poor, dude. I was broke,
Mhm.
super broke, barely making rent, let alone buying food. And my friends at the time were doing a little bit better, and they were like, "I'd like to pay for you to come with us because you're the only one who speaks Spanish." This was a friend's bachelor party. This was like maybe 15 years ago. And so I went down and was, like the communication guy for every place we went, like strip clubs and all this kind of shit. But
Mhm.
it's not my jam, man. And I don't think I'd run back to do it again. There's just a vibe when you go down there. If you're not like aware of the area or aware of that country and what some of the ins and outs of that country is, it can feel dangerous. So for me, even in Rosarito,
Oh yeah.
there were moments where like we were at a strip club late at night and there was some shit going down that I was like, yeah, I don't want to fucking be here, man.
Oh
So,
yeah, dude.
yeah. So it's no joke.
Drunkenly been to 2 strip clubs in Tijuana
Mm,
with my buddy who was born in Tijuana.
yeah.
So I felt safe with him, but they were seedy, man. Fucking seedy.
Right.
Life experience.
Yeah. I'm glad I survived, but I am no rush to go back or do whatever. And anybody was like, "Oh, you can fly into this or fly into that." Knock yourself out. Knock yourself out.
I went with a friend once. It was, I was a young comic and he was the headliner coming down. He's like, "Hey, you want to roll with me down to Tijuana real quick? I need to run to a pharmacy." And I was like, "Sure." And we walked across the border and he just picked up a bunch of shit that he shouldn't have because he can't get a prescription for it here. And then we just jumped back in his car and drove back to, Pacific Beach.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And it was just like, I just said yes. It was like, why not? There could be a good story. I saw a dude making a churro on the way back into the States.
Yeah.
But he had taken an old engine block and the piston head, he had turned into a crank. So he's cranking on the side and this piston head is pushing churro, whatever the dough is,
Yeah.
through a shape form. And it's making the perfect churro shape. And it goes right into this big vat of who the fuck knows what kind of oil. And he's taking scissors and just cutting it when it gets to whatever length. And they start frying, but he's cranking this old piston head. I was like, look at that. I was stone cold sober. He was hung over with a bag full of prescription pills. And I was like, oh man, that looks good. I know I shouldn't eat that.
Ingenuity, man. Ingenuity.
Yeah.
I know I should.
I'm sure it was delicious. I'm sure it was delicious. I really wanted it. But I did not eat it, but it's just for that kind of story. But yeah, I don't like going to, especially those border towns.
Yeah, dude. Nope. No thanks.
It's just dicey.
And when you drive down, except when you fly in, right? You can fly in, I guess, and land in Mexico City or Baja or whatever, and it's fine. They got those resorts that are very much for Americans only.
Yeah.
Or traveling Europeans or whatever. But like, what if you drive through the border? Man, some of those shanty towns, dude, you're just like heartbroken at the kind of poverty and devastation you see.
Yeah. And all the violence and
Yeah.
trying to get drugs into the US, baby.
Yeah, no thanks, man. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into our
Merry Christmas. So once we set a topic, we go our individual ways and create personal top 10 lists. Show back up here. I do my bottom 3. He does his bottom 3. I do my next 2. He does his next 2. Then we trade 1 apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the two of us.
Boom.
I have a feeling. So I tried. I texted you late last night.
Yes,
I tried as best I could to honor, because we were talking about the change up, to honor movies like the change up where consciousness swaps. And that is really fucking difficult to do.
Okay.
For me, at least.
Mm-hmm.
If you got there, God bless you. I can't wait to hear what movies you unearthed.
I barely got there, but I think there are a little bit of cheats in that bodies are swapped, but maybe not necessarily in exchange for another swap. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, that where it's Ryan Reynolds and Bateman, and then now they're just flip-flopping and playing. They're doing impressions of the other, in essence, in their now world. I tried to, but I was like, man, there's a lot of shit on this list, and I'm lying to myself about 2 of these just to get to 10. I had like 7 or 8. I was like, I can get to 7 or 8 and be honest with myself. Right. 9, 10, and 11 here on this list, I know for a fact I don't like any of them.
Wow. Okay.
Ostensibly, this is the best made one of these 3, but I still don't like the movie.
Okay.
So then I was like, all right, so it doesn't. necessarily need to be consciousness switch, just a body change.
Yes.
It's of some kind. That's to fill out this list. So anyway, that all being said, I did try and give more credence to the consciousness swap just for shits and giggles. So my number 10 is Like Father, Like Son.
Oh, okay. Didn't make my list, so please go ahead.
You know what? As it shouldn't.
Okay.
Because I was trying to, you know what? I want more body swaps where two characters are swapping, and now they have to kind of do an impression of the other.
Right.
And that's fun to do and to see if they can actually pull it off. I think of all the body swapping movies that came out in the 80s, this is one of the slightly better versions.
Okay.
But if I go back and see it now, it'd be basically for Dudley Moore.
Yeah. Who's great.
Because Kirk Cameron didn't have much of a life in movies beyond that. And I don't know how often I go back for Dudley Moore at this point outside of Arthur.
Right.
So that's why it's a 10. It's just like the rewatchability is so low compared to everything else that's on my list.
Yeah.
I still enjoy it, though. I still think it's a fun movie and it's a nice version within the genre. But I think it was pulled off better by others. Potentially.
Yeah, I remember the 80s being a big deal for these body switches, and of course that probably speaks to the volume of cocaine executives were doing in the 80s, going like, I'd love to go back and be a kid again at this time, video games and, discovering all this kind of stuff. So,
or it's somebody at Paramount, hey, TriStar's coming out with this, and then Warner Brothers gets wind of it, and then suddenly we have 3 volcano movies.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So that seems there were some years in between, but it was like, 2 or 3 within a 3-year span, and then 2 years off, and then 2 or 3 within another 3-year span. It's like, wow, man, a lot of body switching movies.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know if I liked this one. Who's Kirk Cameron's in this one, right?
Kirk Cameron, yeah.
So I know I saw it because I was a Dudley Moore guy at the time because I loved Arthur and a couple of his films like 10 and other things like that I'd watched, and so I was like, oh, this could be fun. And then you watch, you're like, oh, it's pretty run of the mill. So and it's never one that I've gone back to watch or have any kind of.
That's why it's a 10.
Yeah, totally.
I tried to get on as many of those as I could, but I'm sorry, Dream a Little Dream, I don't recall liking.
I didn't like it at all. It's not on my list either. Spoiler alert, it's not on my list either.
There's a couple others where I'm being like, yes, it fits the mold, but I don't remember liking it, and I'm not going to go back to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Because nothing I read about the Wikipedia plot summation really jumps out as anything other than formulaic laziness.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my 10.
All right. What's your 9?
My 9 is The Change Up. So I rewatched this.
Oh, okay. So that's a punt for sure. Oh yeah, you rewatched it? At least it made your list.
Exactly. I still anyway.
Yeah, I can get that.
But
it's a slight punt, but yeah, it's a punt. All right, what's your 8?
My 8 is All of Me.
That's my 9, dude. I wish I could put it higher. I wanted to put it higher, but it's a film that I it's dated at times. But dude, I remember seeing this film in the theaters with my parents and loving it. I remember
Me too.
Kid. And then I remember watching it, whatever would come on like the pay channels or come on, whatever it's been on, like cable channels or whatever. This is a forgotten good, damn good 80s movie and comedy. And Steve Martin at his physical best, and Lily Tomlin at her acerbic wit. And even the character actor who plays the Swami or whatever, he's like, bucking ball, bucking ball, bucking ball, bucking ball. All of that. So great. And I think I remember the actress's name who plays his wife, Victoria Tennant, who's this British actress. And I think they actually were dating in real life, if I remember correctly. But anyway, I thought this was really funny.
He's married in this?
I think he's married to her, isn't he? To Victoria Tennant?
Like he's like tied to her through like business or something to Lily Tomlin.
Right. He's a lawyer or something, right?
Yeah, she's like trying to transfer her consciousness to some other woman who's, I can't remember. I think that's
her, the British girl. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And then hijinks ensue. Because that's every one of these movies. I can break it down like in the bowl thing. So you have to put like the souls in the bowl, and there's like a mishandling of the bowl, and hijinks fucking ensue.
Right.
But so I saw this in the theater. I was really young with,
Yeah.
like, what did this come out? 85,
I think
86?
so. Yeah, somewhere in there.
So I'd have been like 7, something somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
I remember because she kind of takes over part of Steve Martin's body. Like when he looks in the mirror, he sees her.
Yeah.
But then he has to go use the urinal. And that whole, I died laughing as a kid. Died laughing.
It's great jokes.
It still works as an adult.
It does.
It's but it's got the, the nice, a little bit for everybody, but it was mostly for adults.
Right.
But I enjoyed it there were a couple jokes that I thought were great as a kid, and I still think are great, even now as an adult, and you appreciate more of the overall arc. And
yeah. It's kind of a low key Tootsie, right? Because whereas Dustin Hoffman dresses up as a woman to understand what the world is like as a woman and compare it to his experience as a man. Mm-hmm. In this, and the way it happens is that he transfers the Swami transfers the soul to the bowl, and the bowl gets knocked out the window on accident and lands on Steve
and hits him.
Yeah, and the soul goes into him, and she is shocked to be in a man's body, and he is shocked to have a woman in his body. So they both have these kind of conversations about what it's like to be a man or a woman in society. And so you see that as the film goes along. And of course, you find out that the British girl, Victoria Tennant, she was trying to do this so she could take control of her fortunes and was never going to allow her to have her soul be put into her body and all of that. So he has to now, through her, help her figure out what to do. And she realizes that she'd been a pretty vapid rich person, and so she has to come to terms with what she had done in her past. So it's actually a damn good movie. I wonder if
it's good.
Who wrote this thing? Was it Rob Reiner or anybody like that, or did he? I think Rob Reiner might have directed it.
Oh, I don't think so.
No, Carl Reiner. Sorry, Carl Reiner. He directed it. Carl Reiner directed it. So yeah, 1984.
1980, yeah, might have been 5 or 6, depending
and the
on
guy who wrote Field of Dreams and Sneakers and The Sum of All Fears wrote this one, Phil Alden Robinson. So speaks volumes. Yeah.
All right, so that was my 8. What do you got?
Yeah. All right. So then my number 10 is Vice Versa.
That's a punt.
Yeah, really? Okay, you liked it that much. All right.
For one specific thing, anyway.
All right, respect. As I said, 9 is All of Me. All right, and so here's one of a couple of cheats I have on here, and they're from the same franchise, so I'll put it out there. Jumanji, The Next Level, the sequel to the original one.
Oh, okay. So are you implying that there might be another?
Maybe. Yes, there might be. Yes, this is how I filled out my list.
Go right ahead. Yeah. I still haven't seen this yet.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the sequel. And of course, man, dude, one of my greatest experiences of my life was the original. And we'll talk about that when we get to that. But the sequel got released, and I was looking forward to because I really enjoyed that first one. And this one is good. It's just not as good. And Danny Glover and Danny DeVito, it's a little weird what happens, but certainly the world is way more expansive in this movie, which is fun to experience and see. One of the Jonas brothers, I think it's Joe Jonas, is in this thing. He's good in the film as well. He gets a little more to do. They bring back Colin Hanks to a degree. And and Awkwafina is very funny in the film as well. So this is more a matter of like this, there's bodies being switched in terms of avatars and consciousness and all of that, but it's not the same as what you saw in the first movie.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, The Rock is essentially playing Danny DeVito. Kevin Hart is playing Danny Glover. And so they're old men trapped inside these young, big bodies, but they're still talking to each other like they're old men, which is funny. I think the girls pretty much stay in the bodies they had before, I think. And so that's very funny in certain spots, but in other spots, it felt like it was a bit forced, a bit rough overall. So it's not why that's not why it's as high on my list as it might have been had it been as good as I was hoping for it to be. So, but it's still good.
Yeah, had I not basically come to the conclusion last night that I couldn't do full consciousness body swap, I was going to take the time to try and watch Next Level.
Yeah.
But instead I watched Change Up again.
Right.
Just to see it. So, but another one may or may not be discussed later on.
Okay. All right.
No spoilers.
No. I mean, this one has, like I said, this one has a pretty, like they're having to take over They're having to stop the takeover of the entire land of Jumanji, and so it's a little more than what you saw in the first one. It's a little more extensive, and then stuff happens at the end. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it because it's only, I think it's a 2019 film. It's just last year.
Yeah, it came out last year, last Christmas.
Feels like 2 years ago, man. It's so crazy with all the shit that's gone on. But there's, what can I say? Oh, there's stuff that happens at the end that would make a sequel if they're going to do it down the road. Very, very interesting. And for fans of the first movie, I think there will be stuff to look forward to, of the original, rather, not the first movie, the original, the one from the 90s. There'll be stuff to look forward to for sure. So that's what I would say about it. But still good, still damn good. So
that was your 8?
That is my 8, yes.
Okay. My 7 is Shrek the Third.
Oh, where's that on my list? That is also my 7. Yes, Shrek the Third. It qualifies.
It's not as prominent a character because it's what Donkey and Puss.
Donkey and Puss
do the swap, but it does count. It counts for consciousness. Yep. I do like this better than like Father, like Son, and All of Me. And I will see Shrek the Third rather more times than I will see both of those. So that's why it ended up as my number 7, because it qualified and checked all the boxes, baby. I'm happy when it happened on this list. I wanted it to happen as much as I possibly could.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a funny film. I mean, when they swap, it's very funny. Because, you know, like obviously there are jokes at each other's expenses. There are jokes at each other's animal expenses, and all that. And you know how Puss has money in his boot, but he's always claiming to be poor. And he's like, oh, how did that get in there? Like, so all these secrets get exposed by both of them on each other, which I think is very funny, as a new layer of enjoyment to the movie for sure.
Yeah, I think it does. And it's also kind of livens it up. It's the third one. So you don't want to kind of be mining the same material for the jokes over and over because it'll be stale.
Yeah. So
the role reversal adds another dimension that hadn't been, used previously in the first 2 films. So it keeps it fresh. And I enjoy it for that aspect as well.
Yeah.
I just think that for me, the whole Shrek series, I don't know how often I'll see it again.
Okay.
It's nothing against it. It's just there's so much other kid-flavored stuff. And when I'm hanging out with nieces, nephews, and they want to pop on, it's never Shrek.
Right.
It's always some Disney something or other, or Nickelodeon, like Paw Patrol type stuff. That's what they want to watch. So I'm sure there are households where their parents introduce them to Shrek, but it's none that I hang out with. So I just don't see it all that much. And I'm not going to seek it out because there's other animation to watch, Listen to Thursday's Topic Thunder. We talk about that. All kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, it's not a bad franchise, the Shrek franchise.
It's not.
I do get your point. Like people don't normally put it on at the same levels that they do other franchises.
Not in my world, at least.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we get a couple irate, like Super Shrek fans. Like, how dare you? To picture them dressed up as the gingerbread man. How they it's Christmas. I like it as the avatar. It's festive. And also you can tell it was at Comic-Con. So it means it's July in San Diego. Good for you. That's commitment right there. So just double respect. I can't wait to see that picture.
My gumdrop buttons.
Exactly. Look here, buddy.
But yeah, I mean, the first one is so good because of John Lithgow, and the second one is actually damn good because you get more with you get the fairy godmother, right? You get Jennifer Saunders playing the fairy godmother.
The world.
Yeah, more with Rupert Everett. Then the third one is about King Arthur, Justin Timberlake trying to, Shrek trying to help Justin Timberlake embrace his destiny, which I think is great. And you get the crazy Merlin stuff with Eric Idle, and then the switch, like you said, which is how it happens. It's Merlin who switches them on accident, the body swap, and then the fourth one I think is actually a dark comedy because Rumpelstiltskin is a pretty dark character, and I think it really works. I like that fourth one too.
Anyway, so that is my number 7.
Okay, what's your 6?
My 6 is Heaven Can Wait.
Heaven Can Wait. Oh yeah, shit. The Warren Beatty.
Warren Beatty.
Oh fuck.
where he's a.
You know what? That just knocked Vice Versa off my list. All right, go
Oh,
ahead,
how
man.
dare you?
Sorry, I forgot that Heaven Can Wait is part of this.
Well, yeah,
Damn it! All right, take it away, Matt.
Once I was like, all right, it doesn't have to be consciousness, like both people need to be flip flopping type of
Yeah.
thing. I was like, you know what movie I always did like? It was that one. It was kind of, I saw it on Saturday afternoon TV or something at one point. And I was like, what is this? Like, it's got this weird sports tie-in. That's what drew me in, because he's a backup quarterback. And then like an angel thinks he's going to die, but is not technically going to die. So he steals him from his death and then finds out that wasn't supposed to happen. So he puts him into someone that was just recently deceased, and he gets to take over that person's body. And then the crazy part is he decides, because the dude whose body he inhabits is super rich. So he wants to revert back to his backup quarterback days, and he buys the Rams, or I think it was the Rams.
Yeah, it is. It's the Rams, the LA Rams. Yeah.
Yeah. To be the quarterback of that, to lead them to the Super Bowl and all this jazz. Like, the premise is ridiculous, but Warren Beatty is so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a nice heartfelt story. It's got more of the serious element as opposed to the comedic effect that more often than not these El Switcheroos tend to, try and communicate, evoke, however you want to say it.
Yeah. I was surprised how much I liked it too, Matt. I remember seeing this is once again, this is one of those lost kind of 80s comedies that really only your parents or your grandparents talk about, or us. But like it's damn good. And Warren Beatty, for all the shit around Warren Beatty, he's actually really genuinely charming in this movie. And I think it's based on a previous movie, or it's a remake of another movie from back in the 40s, if I remember correctly. But it really works here, and it's actually thought-provoking and funny and unusual. And like I said, it has a great sports tie-in. I mean, Warren Beatty is a quarterback of the Rams. I think it's kind of strange to see that, but it's what it is,
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know, it kind of works a little bit.
Yeah, it does. He's a pretty boy. You could see that as pretty boy quarterback type thing.
No quarterback is that good looking.
Right.
But you could cast one as such.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, it's a remake of Here Comes Mr. Jordan from 1941. Yeah, this one came out in 1978. It was nominated for 9 Academy Awards. So this is not something to ignore or think it's, boring.
Yeah. I also think it was a light year.
Well, okay. All right.
I don't know. I'd have to look, but if this garners 9, I have to assume it was kind of a light year. It's a good movie. Do not get me wrong. It makes my list. 9 Academy Awards? Oh, I do not know about that.
Now I'm curious. I know we don't have a lot of time to jump onto separate tangents, but now I'm curious. 1978 movies.
Well, just look up 1979 Oscars. It'll tell you what was nominated against it.
All right, movies released in 1978. Superman, Grease, Animal House, Every Which Way But Loose, Heaven Can Wait, Jaws 2, The Deer Hunter, Revenge of the Pink Panther. Those are some damn good movies. Those are some fucking good movies. Midnight Express, Coming Home, The Buddy Holly Story. I think, did Star Wars come out in 78 too? Is that right?
That sounds right.
Yeah. There were interesting. All right. Yeah. I think it did come out. So the remake of The Big Sleep. So it may have been light overall, but the ones that were big were big.
Well, so Warren got a nod for lead actor.
Yes.
And then the Jack Warden for best supporting actor.
Great actor, Jack Warden. Yes.
And Diane Cannon, best supporting actress.
Yeah.
Like, it's got art direction. It's a light year, man. It's a light year.
All right, man.
Well, because in leading role, he's up against John Voight in Coming Home.
Yeah. I think he won for that.
He did.
Yeah.
Gary Busey, The Buddy Holly Story.
Oh, he's great in that.
De Niro, The Deer Hunter.
Yeah.
And Olivier and The Boys from Brazil.
Oh, The Boys from Brazil. Right. That's a good movie too.
Okay. Is it?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding? That one about like, the Nazis coming back.
I've read the book.
America. Yeah.
I
think Gregory Peck's in that one too. I think.
Just between that and Coming Home, I haven't seen either of those two. I've seen the other three. Heaven Can Wait is fine.
Yeah, yeah.
I think probably I'd give it to Busey.
Wow. Overall,
De Niro.
Wow.
I haven't seen Olivier and Boys from Brazil. And I haven't seen John Voight. I've never even heard of Coming Home.
Oh, really? The John Voight one with Jane Fonda? Yeah.
Never even. Maybe I've seen.
Yeah.
Read it and just not realized it, but those are all words I understand, and yet it has no meaning to my brain whatsoever.
That's fair. Yeah, it's Jane Fonda is married to Bruce Dern. John Voight is a Vietnam veteran who's come back. I think he's paralyzed. He's in a wheelchair, and she volunteers helping vets, and she ends up falling in love with him, which causes, of course, problems at home with Bruce, who I think served as well, but didn't get injured in Vietnam. So there's this powerful triangle going on between all three of them.
Well, if you can only see one Vietnam drama from 1978, make it Deer Hunter.
I agree. I 1000% agree with Matt. Deer Hunter is the one.
All right, so that was my 6.
There you go. All right. Interesting year for movies, though. Maybe we'll do a top 10 1978 one day. All right, 6 is so 6 is so 7 Shrek the Third. Then my 6 is the punt from earlier, the Change-Up. It made it to 6.
Okay. Wow, made it to 6.
Yeah, I could have gone higher, but I think I had to kind of be honest with myself that I do enjoy the movie, but these other top 5, I just think maybe quality wise or cheesy wise are better in my mind. But I like the Change-Up, man. I mean, tell me about your experience watching it again.
It was good.
Okay.
It was you knew exactly where it was going.
Right.
Although they fall usually after the initial switch, when the new characters get put into the lives they've never led, but have to act like it. Theirs goes catastrophically wrong immediately. Just what is it? Ryan Reynolds, who is now Bateman, has to go to his meeting where he's up for a partnership.
Yeah, Ryan has to do it.
Yeah, flip side is Bateman, who is now Ryan Reynolds, has to go to his big movie break, and it's a softcore porn that he has to put his thumb into a girl's asshole. And you're like, this took a fucking turn. It kind of has like a little bit of fun, playful, and Ryan Reynolds is cursing too much, but it's like, Jesus, this went, kind of R. It didn't really necessarily need to be.
Yeah.
And that whole Ryan Reynolds on a softcore porn shoot was like, okay.
I know it's a little interesting, but I think it's played, it's played a little more lighter.
It's played well.
Yeah. And he has that, kind of burgeoning relationship with Olivia Wilde, which is a very sexy scene when she, takes off her clothes there in their home. But like, he's also like Ryan Reynolds is in this situation where he's actually going to have sex with his best friend's wife. And that's kind of weird and stuff. So
yeah, that is weird.
Right.
So I like the Ryan Reynolds as Bateman in that meeting, like really not knowing what to do and just kind of reverse back to that seemed good to me. I didn't like the Bateman as Ryan Reynolds,
right? Because
if you're up for a partnership, you've talked in front of people quite a bit in meetings, presentations, and whatnot, and you can't remember a couple lines and a simple direction. Bullshit, just bullshit.
Okay.
I don't buy it in the slightest.
Right.
He's not timid about being in front of the camera. It's just like, you really want me to say that? Just like, get through it, man. That's all you got to do. You should be able to pull this off.
Yeah,
but that's fine.
But at the inherent, like the foundation of this is that Bateman is very judgmental of Ryan Reynolds in his life, right?
Yes,
and Reynolds,
true.
On the other hand, is very like not wanting Bateman's life because he sees it as a prison. This idea of only one woman, this idea of like being married, this idea of having a child, like he sees it as a prison, but both of them were unfairly judging each other's lives and then learn about how like what the demands are on both of them to live the life that they're living separately from each other. And so it brings them closer together as friends. And it does help them each realize how they could be better participants in their lives once they switch bodies back. So I mean, I think it's sweet in that way. And you know, sometimes you do need to see what it's like outside of yourself a little bit to kind of change your perception of what's going on in your world. I don't know. You know, that's why I like it the way it is.
Okay. Hey, look, it made my list.
Yeah, true. Very true. I'm glad it did.
All right, so that's your 6?
Yeah, it's my 6. What's your 5?
My 5 is the punt from earlier, vice versa.
Okay. All right. Take it away, my man. It's off my list now.
Solely, it is off your list now. Solely for Judge Reinhold.
Okay.
He is phenomenal acting as an adult with a kid's mind. And like, yes, I buy it so supremely that of the 80s swaparoos, this one was my favorite for his performance. At that age, I was never a fan of Fred Savage by and large.
Right. You didn't like Wonder
Years?
Years?
Little Monsters a lot.
Okay.
But I can't stand Wonder Years.
Wow.
I hate it.
Wow. Okay.
Here's the entire series summated to me.
Okay.
Paul. It's the whole fucking series wrapped up into one word and emotion. Paul. Oh, fucking hate that show. It's so depressing.
Yeah.
And they're like, what, the wizard and
right. Well, Princess Bride was around this time, I think. Maybe he's a kid.
Yeah, but I like everybody else in it, and he's the kid dragging down the story.
Wow, you got a real okay.
Well, when I was a kid, I was like, why are you pitching a fit? Just listen to this story. This story's really cool. Yeah. Like when I was watching it as a kid.
Right.
I wish my grandpa would read me stories like that, except that, doesn't look like that in my head, but
grandpa privilege. It's grandpa. You have grandpa privilege.
It is grandpa privilege. How dare they? Hashtag grandpa privilege top 10. 2020 quarantine style.
Put it out there.
Fake news. It's all. But honestly, for Judge Reinhold, and I don't even know if it's worth, if you've never seen it, worth revisiting.
Yeah, it is kind of dated for sure.
It is dated.
Yeah,
it's very early 80s, like family fare.
Yeah.
But I saw it. I was roughly the same age as Fred Savage, maybe a couple years younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw every one of these body switch movies, and it was my favorite. And I went back and just watched some clips from this movie, and I was like, yep, Judge Reinhold. I could care less about a lot of the rest of this, but watching him in this meeting right now argue and like fudge his way through life, and the first time he's home alone, and he's all just jazzed. He tells his son, Savage, he's got to go to school, and he's like, "Oh, things have changed, Dad." He's great in it. And Savage does a good job acting as like an adult in a kid's world. He pulls it off, but I gravitate then and now to everything Judge is doing.
Judge is one of those forgotten 80s actors, isn't he, Matt? Like
I always had a soft spot for him.
Right? Nobody talks about him, yet he was like, there's some great
just a lovable dude
on his resume. Yeah, I mean, like great in Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2.
Yep.
He's really good in Ruthless People.
Mm-hmm.
He's good in this, and he's always been able to radiate Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay.
People just forget how good he is in a lot of these like seminal or good movies, and just kind of move past his work in the 80s. And he was essential to a lot of these movies in making them work and making you laugh as you're watching them, I would think.
I know. It's surprising that he didn't live in our movie world for longer. Not saying that he would have had a Tom Cruise like 4-decade long career, but consistently working, kept popping up in stuff.
Yeah.
Because he was always likable.
Right. He was in Stripes.
Yeah. Small part in Stripes.
Gremlins. Lords of Discipline.
Hey, he plays a dick in Gremlins, though.
He does play a dick in Gremlins. Yeah. Yeah. Ruthless People. Yeah, Beverly Hills Cop 2. Then Vice Versa is 88. So right as he's sliding out of the
prominence.
90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. Just saying. There's more for him. There should have been more for him. But
maybe.
Oh, well. He was nominated for an Emmy for that role he did in Seinfeld. So shout out to him for that. The close talker. He's a close talker.
Yeah, but they just gave it to any celebrity that guest stars. They really do.
Look at you.
Well, no, it's nothing against his performance, but as I've heard other actors point out, it's just like Yeah, but what about the person, the New York actor on Law and Order that you've never seen
Oh,
since,
true.
crushing it as
Oh, yeah, man.
the mother whose son was violently murdered
Good point.
on the subway station?
Yeah.
And it's a riveting performance, but they're not a celebrity, so nobody really talks
Yeah.
about it at the end of the year.
Yeah, we recently got, it's funny you bring that up. We recently got the Peacock app, and we've been like ripping through seasons of Law and Order that we haven't seen.
Okay.
Dude, there is so much fucking great acting on that show. And remember, this is a time when you had 24 episodes a season,
Mhm.
hour-long episodes. You're absolutely right to bring this up, man. There's so much stellar acting going on.
Yeah, for people you've never seen again.
Right. We've never seen again. Exactly. And they're having to deal with like these hugely traumatic moments or things going on. You know, I was always intimidated to audition for that show because it's like I could have you had the fact you have to kind of summon up that kind of emotion for I don't know a minute of screen time. It's like intense, man.
100%. And you need to bring it, and the rest of the cast is kind of like, yeah, we've been here.
Yeah.
Like we've done this before type of thing, and it's all new to you. But then that year's Emmy will go to Marky Post because she was on an episode of Who the Fuck Knows, and it's good to see Marky again, so let's give her an award. Yeah. I can't blame you. That she was a name actress for a long time, and who doesn't love a little Marky Post?
Marky Post.
Yeah.
Great on Night Court. Absolutely.
And that's what happened. And now there's more celebrities, bigger names end up.
Yeah.
The Emmys is not the once, bastion for.
Yeah, I'm starting to, mentally move away from award shows, man. I mean, I
don't watch them. Don't care.
In my mind, I'm like, I've gotten to the point now where it's like, well, the fact that they were trying to ram through an Oscars for next year, and they're still trying to ram through an Oscars for next year. I don't know, bro. I don't think it's wrong to, watch movies and have debates about which ones you like or didn't like, or which ones you put at the top of your list. I think top 10 films of 20, that's all cool. I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
But award shows now, I'm just like, it's always been subjective. It's always been campaigns, and too many people point to those award shows as the end all be all, but their essence is subjective. So therefore, there is no end all be all answer. And just because you said something won an Oscar, it doesn't necessarily mean it's quality. So like once that gets eroded, then the luster of winning one of those becomes not as important. I mean, I'd rather have 20 million in my bank account than a fucking Oscar. Do you know what I'm saying? And so this idea of like aspiring to this.
Well, it depends on what you want. So you clearly take the financial stability.
I think now in when I was in my 20s or 30s, I'd be like, oh yeah, the prestige of winning an Oscar would be great. But like now it's like, well, security is what you want now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully that Oscar got you that. So I didn't know you won an Oscar. Congratulations.
I wish I'd won.
Enjoy that 20 mil.
The more you know. All right, then my number 5 is Face Off.
Yeah, couldn't do it.
I had a feeling it wouldn't be on your list, man. I had a feeling
that movie sucks.
When you texted me and you said you were struggling,
you know what? I'm gonna use the restroom, grab a drink. You go ahead and talk about fucking Face Off for 3 minutes without me.
I love Face Off. What a cheesy, awesome, nutty film from John Woo with Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. They're switching bodies through some government experiment. You have to let go of the fact that they look nothing like each other. You have to let go of the fact that like one is 1 foot shorter than the other. I think Travolta's taller than Nick Cage. But it is pure. It's a great avenue. Sorry, for both of them to indulge their desire to overact or their desire to go crazy and do whatever. And Nicolas Cage, John Travolta as Nicolas Cage is so funny. He's doing the white eyes and all this stuff. Yeah. And then, of course, when Travolta is playing like Nicolas Cage inside his body, the really uncomfortable moments he has with his daughter, you could never get away with that. Now the stuff with Dominique Swain. But then him like dancing around. And how does his wife, Joan Allen, not know that it's another person inside her husband's body, like not sense the energy difference or whatever, and so all of that, you kind of have to put that aside a little bit, because the action is crazy. What happens between them is nuts. It's John Woo with the slow motion and the doves and all this. And you could argue that this is the best John Woo film he did stateside. Some people, like Mark Ellis, would argue Hard Target is better. I was in Wind Talkers, but you'd never catch me arguing that Wind Talkers is the best John Woo film he did stateside. So, by default, I think it's Face Off. And there's some great scenes, some great, like in terms of well shot scenes, some great cinematography overall. But it's why I put it at 5. And you get a young Nick Cassavetes as that bald. And Gina Gershon's in this thing, so there's enough to enjoy if you're a big fan of it and the cheesiness of Face Off. All of it. And there were rumors about a remake. There have been rumors about a remake for the last 5 years. But we'll see. But anyway, yeah, that's why I put it at 5. I think it still holds up. I think for the cheese factor alone, it holds up. So.
I agree with that, because you should remake bad movies, because maybe there's a good premise in there somewhere. I agree.
Fair enough.
4, I have Freaky Friday.
Oh, that's my 3. So yeah. Lindsay Lohan. The Lindsay Lohan one or the original?
Yep. Okay, no, the Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis. It's the only one I've seen.
Okay. Yeah.
And I kind of saw it so randomly. I thought it was just going to be some formulaic. You judge a movie when you see a trailer and be like, it's made for. You already think you know the beats of it. Right. But it's really good. It's probably the most successful of the straight, young family type of what you're leaning towards.
Yeah.
And Lindsay Lohan, back before we knew she was, I guess, maybe too addicted to the lifestyle of being Lindsay Lohan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
before. Yeah, she was making that transition. So
she's making a name. Yeah.
Disney, because Herbie's around this time too.
I think it's like a year before, maybe a year and a half before.
Yeah.
And she's with somebody who's a huge name, Hollywood royalty. It's been in a franchise of her own and Halloween type of thing, like an actress with clout and holds her own, and it's the two of them. And Jamie Lee is great.
Yes, she is really good at playing the younger Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, it was like post the True Lies for the next like 6-7 years. You'd see her in Surviving Christmas or whatever that was, or no, Christmas with the Cranks. Yeah, I think that was like 3 years after this. Mm-hmm. But I think True Lies like gave her another second win from that. Yeah. Was it 94?
I think so. True Lies is 94 or 92.
95. Oh, 92. 92 is the first number in my head, but I was like, that seems really early.
No, 92 I think is Terminator. So Terminator 2. So True Lies, I think it is. True Lies is 94.
94.
Yeah, you're right on that one, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Freaky Friday was what, like 97, 98?
Freaky Friday's. I'm sorry. Terminator's 91. Freaky Friday is 2003. 2003.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Full.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot later than I anticipated.
Yeah, 2003. So this is after the True Lies situation, and she's still great. And, kind of conveying that kind of young mom, the mom switching into the young child thing really well.
Yeah, to see, because usually Jamie Lee, in my head, I associate her with more up-tempo action-y type of stuff. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Even, going back further, like, what was it, Thin Blue Line?
Right.
Drama, but there's still like the action-y. So in my head, she's always kind of existed like that. And this is a slightly softer, where she shifted to playing more moms and stuff, eventually, I guess.
Yeah.
But the interplay between her and Lindsay Lohan, like there's some genuine affection. It's the best acting of any of these swaps where a parent swaps with a child.
Yeah. Oh, I agree 1,000%.
Yeah. I didn't put on 18 again because I mean, I haven't seen that in so long. I like George Burns, but it's not a movie that I remember thinking it was amazing.
Yeah.
If I'm going to go back and watch George Burns from that era, it's going to be what? Oh, God, You Devil?
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, you want that one? Yeah.
I like that one more, personally.
Really? Wow.
But I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah.
That
was the third one in that series. They made 3 of those. Pretty crazy.
I think that You Devil was the only one I saw in the theater because the rest came, predate me.
Yeah.
I might have seen that in the theater.
Yeah. I think I think Lindsay, this is like, it's a shame to look. People can judge or whatever, but it's a shame what happened to Lindsay. Eventually, because like this is when it's just like Amanda Bynes. Like you've got a lot of evidence to show you what was possible here. And Lindsay got into all the partying and all that stuff, and it just kind of destroyed what could have been a great transition. It's because Hathaway did this, right? Hathaway stepped out of the Disney stuff, took some roles that were a bit, how can I say this? A bit revealing, like Havoc and whatever, like kind of broke out of the mold, did the Princess Diaries as well. But then eventually, kind of as she grew up, grabbed onto these other roles and these more independent films. And if Lindsay had, for whatever reason, had a little more of a desire to do that, to be taken a little more legitimate as an actress, I think there was certainly possibilities for her to do that more. But this is just like Mean Girls is the last gasp, I think, of the potential of Lindsay Lohan.
Yes,
and it flows from Freaky Friday into Mean Girls just a few years later. So it's a shame, but she's great. She's so charming in the movie. She's very funny, and they have genuine chemistry. And Jamie Lee Curtis, who is, it's a crime she hasn't done more noted comedies. She has great comedic sensibilities, man.
She does. Go watch Trading Places.
Yeah, right. And of course, her husband's Christopher Guest, so that makes all the sense in the world. So, yeah.
All right. So that was my 4, your 3.
Yes.
So what's your 4?
My 4 is 13 going on 30.
Okay. I have never seen it all the way through, so go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I love this movie, man.
Okay.
Absolutely love this movie. Jennifer Garner rarely gets a chance to be successful in a film. So when I thought this one came at a time when she was kind of like making the move. I think Electra's around this time too. She's making this move out of Alias, where she was critically acclaimed. And so she's trying to do something here. And she steps into this role, and I think she knocks it out of the park. She plays it so well as a teenage girl, all of a sudden waking up in an older woman's body, not that much older, but certainly old enough to be an executive for a company. Judy Greer plays her best friend and all that entails. And then her boss is Andy Serkis, who's very funny. The rare time you get to see Andy Serkis using his actual British voice, and all of that. Oh no, wait, is he British? I think he's British. So I don't want to misspeak because people get upset when you misspeak about people they love. So I think he's British.
Oh, Serkis?
Yeah.
In real life?
Yeah, he's from London.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
I thought you were asking in this movie, and I was like, you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, no, he's British in the movie. And so, but like all the things that she navigates as she gets older and sees like what she turns into, she has to reevaluate. And the Ruffalo thing with her is really sweet throughout the movie, because Ruffalo is with someone else at the time who's maybe not the best person for him, but he falls back in love with her because they used to be friends in middle school, I think, and he was kind of the heavier kid, and she wasn't that into him. She wanted to be part of the cool kids and all of that. So it explores all that, but she's so damn charming in this movie. Like the thriller scene at the event, the back and forth conversations with Judy Greer with Ruffalo when she's really embracing what she has and what she can do now that she's in this body, and then the eventual switch back. So to me, I really enjoy it. It's very, very charming. And it's a rare character that Jennifer Garner gets to play, because usually she plays these like harder edge kind of characters or emotional.
Yeah, well, Alias kind of
right.
set the template.
Right.
Like Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, exactly. Like Michelle. Exactly. And Peppermint's on Netflix. If you guys haven't seen Peppermint, I can recommend that one. It's a pretty awesome revenge movie that she's in. All right. That's my 4.
Okay.
Your 3 was freaky. Mine. Oh,
Nope.
Your 4 was freaky.
My 4 was freaky.
Yeah. So what's your 3?
My 3 is Being John Malkovich.
Oh my God. I totally forgot about that one.
Really? Because you asked me on last week's show and you're like, would you count this? And I was like, well, if we're talking about consciousness swap and
all right, I'm moving it. Heaven can wait. It's off the list. It's off the list. I will put at 3 Being John Malkovich. I think that's I can't believe I forgot about that one. What a great decision.
Yeah, once I was like, okay, well, I'm not bound by this. Well, Malkovich, John Cusack, Cameron Diaz, and Catherine Keener are all swap consciousness. Like they take over Malkovich's body, and is a strange fucking film that somehow is very successful.
I agree. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Uh, it, it's been a minute since I've seen it. I've seen it probably like 10 times, 12 times. You know what I mean? I've seen the fucking movie a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But it's been a minute since I've seen it. It's fucking strange, man. It's a weird period for, certain film auteurs.
Yeah, this is a Charlie Kaufman one.
It is Kaufman.
Spike Jonze directed this one.
Correct.
And but yeah, you're right. This one's one of those, like, it's an unusual comedy, but if
comedy's like, that's a heavy quotation.
Yeah. If it works for you, it really fucking works for you, because it's a very cerebral comedy, a challenging comedy.
It's surrealistic.
Yeah, and surreal, absolutely. And what each of them experiences in Malkovich's body, because by the way, they all think they're the heroes of their story, but they're also all kind of,
they're all bad. Or they're not willing to admit the faults that they have, especially between like Cusack and Cameron Diaz, this failing relationship type of thing.
Right, but also Catherine Keener is sleeping with John Cusack behind Cameron Diaz's back, and then of course she gets with Cameron Diaz, and so what does that all mean? But Cusack is the hangdog, castrated guy in this movie, but he's also the architect of his own demise, because he's so selfishly driven to have both women at the same time. So
yeah, it's good though, man. It is. It's one of those movies that will never be remade. You can guarantee that.
Oh yeah.
I just don't know. There is no point in trying to get lightning in a separate bottle on that one.
Yeah. And also shout out to Malkovich, who's actually in the movie playing himself.
Yes.
And his experience with dealing with this shit and with having people take over his body in meetings or whatever. And then of course when he becomes the puppet master because of Cusack, like all of it, he plays it so well.
Well, it's a nice little bit of storytelling where John Cusack is a puppeteer on the side, and now he gets to be a real life. This is a human puppet that he gets to manipulate, type of thing. And it's interesting to see Malkovich's acting choices in the moments when he is being taken over by all the 3 different people.
Yeah.
Weird little concept is like half floor, and the elevator stops there, and they get off, and there's a weird little door, and the door just takes you into the consciousness of John Malkovich. It's like, I don't even know how you conceive of this story, and then ultimately at the end, it's successful.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And then you see all these people who have been going into Malkovich's body.
Yeah, it's a solid cast. Well acted. The cinematography is like it's really dark and overbearing when it needs to be. You feel it, like it's a palpable tension. You got producers to put up money.
Mm-hmm.
Good for fucking you, man.
Yeah,
this is such an abstract thought.
Well, this is around this time too, when like people were pushing the boundaries of the independent movement, and
it checked all the right boxes.
This is 99. This is right the tail end of that shit in the 90s. So yeah, absolutely. It's great. If you haven't
Cameron
seen it,
Diaz on the way up, and Malkovich is Malkovich at that point, and Cusack is still Cusack, and Catherine Keener is kind of one of the. She's always in good movies.
Yep.
It's just.
This is one of those ones too, Matt, where like, I don't know. It's like how can I say it sticks in your mind. If it works for you, it'll stick in your mind. Like the idea of having a half floor never even occurred to me, dude. And knowing that you have to kind of work your way into it, it is hilarious.
But I can also see someone hating this movie.
Yeah, probably pretentious or whatever.
Well, it just because they're making such distinct choices, they're not trying to appeal to everybody.
Right.
So either you buy it or you don't. So whereas I fully understand that, but then at the same time, like American Beauty, I don't understand in the slightest. It's roughly the same era.
Yeah, I was reading an article the other day about that. They because I think Yahoo or somebody interviewed the screenwriter, and they said like, oh, it was Kevin Spacey. That's the reason. If he hadn't done the stuff that he did, I was like, nah, it wouldn't have mattered who was in that movie. It doesn't work now. It really doesn't.
No, it didn't work for me at the time. I've never enjoyed that movie.
Fair. I thought Chris Cooper was great in that movie, but I get how.
Yeah, but he wasn't so good that I gloss over everything else that I didn't care for Kevin Spacey. I didn't care for Thora Birch. I didn't care for like every storyline.
Yeah.
Just like Chris Cooper was good as the dad who's confused, to say the least.
Yeah.
What
he goes through. Yeah.
But unfortunately, that was a good performance lost in a movie that I don't care about. All right, so that was our collective 3.
Yeah, I would have to say yes, absolutely. What's your 2?
So my 2 is Jumanji.
Yeah, that's my 2 as well. Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, the first one. Couldn't believe how good it was. Jack Black to me steals the movie.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, yes.
It's so good. In the day of of wokeness, and he's doing his impression of like a Valley girl, and yet it doesn't feel like it's demeaning.
Nope.
It feels honest.
Yeah.
And I love that. So I wonder if he had to have a talk with somebody like, oh, this feels like we're going to offend some people.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just a fucking joke. It's just, and I'm not, it's so long as I'm not belittling them for these behaviors.
Right.
Then it is a personality, type that could exist and does. Voila.
Yeah. It could have gone so many different directions, right? That would have been offensive. And you're right. Absolutely. 1,000%. Like, he goes in, Jack Black does that, and he probably talked to maybe his daughters or if he has, I don't know if he has any, but like maybe if he has,
I know he has sons.
All right, so maybe his nieces, maybe something like that.
He could have a daughter, but I know he has 2 sons. That's all I'm saying.
There's and maybe friends who have daughters, maybe sat down with them. Hey, like, can I talk to you about this? Like, what's the reaction? Blah, blah. So it brings that authenticity to it that still makes fun of her, but also is respectful to her and what she's going through and the experience and whatever. And the nerd girl getting into, Karen Gillan's body, who is kind of a nerdy, awkward girl herself. She'll say that, but like, she's very attractive and how that works. And, you could have easily gone the trope of like, oh, this is what it takes to succeed. You got to look like this, but they didn't. They avoided that by her like trying to be sexy scene, which is hilarious. And they didn't have Alex Wolff do like, or have The Rock do Alex Wolff doing like a black voice to play the guy. It was totally different. And then of course, Kevin Hart is so funny seeing the big dude become a smaller guy.
Yeah, the tiny little
world. Yeah. So all of it. But the direction is great, dude. The speed of the direction, how it flows from scene to scene.
Yeah.
And the heart of the movie really works.
When they announced it, I was like, how do you remake that movie?
Yeah, 1,000% agree with you.
And to not even try to remake that one and just do your own version of the same premise.
Mm-hmm.
So I instantly, once I started watching, I bought in. I was like, okay, they're not, trying to do Robin Williams, which is impossible. There's no point in even attempting it.
Yeah.
So instead of having him, we'll have this 4 ensemble, really good actors. I see Karen Gillan in, a comedy.
Yeah.
A little bit, I guess, technically in the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, but
yeah, I'm one of those rare people that enjoyed Selfie, her sitcom she did with John Cho. I thought she was good in that, but it was canceled after 1 season. But I thought she was damn good in that, and it was a shame she didn't go further. But yeah, she could do comedy like nobody's business, man. There was some.
Yeah, it's nice to see her, venturing out, and then Jack Black in more of an action-y type of film.
Yeah, well, even The Rock, playing a nerdy guy.
He still gets to be The Rock, though.
Yeah, it's true. Smoldering looks and everything.
Yeah, and he's throwing dudes around, and he's still The Rock. It's just now it's The Rock with the brain. So it's like, so you got the best of both worlds. Good for you, Rock.
Good for you.
Yeah.
He's gonna do stand-up comedy next. Oh, fuck you.
I bet you'd be good at it.
Oh yeah, he's great.
I mean, I don't know how good his sense of humor is in regards to it, but just get some writers. I bet you'd be good at it.
He's great doing his stuff as The Rock in WWE. I mean, some of his promos are great because they're funny. They're funny promos.
Of the past few years, he's got one of the standout SNL sketches, and I don't watch it every week. I just, if it's online, I manage to see it where it's an evil scientist trying to create the world's most evil thing.
Yeah.
And he wins, and his is so evil that the others are like, Jesus, man. It's like, I thought that was the point. It's really good. I don't want to spoil it if you want to go watch it.
Yeah. His Barack Obama was funny too. That was funny.
Okay. I've only seen like snippets. I've never actually seen the sketch.
Yeah, He turns into the Hulk. It's hilarious.
Okay.
But yeah, all right. So then our number one, I imagine, is the same as well, right?
I would assume Big.
Big. Yeah, absolutely.
Have
Tom Hanks. Have you seen this one in a bit?
Have you Tom Hanks? You heard of him?
You ever heard of him?
He was in a movie. You might have seen Greyhound. That guy that was the captain, that's Tom Hanks. He was in Big.
He's so good. He's got a career, that guy. He's got a career.
Yeah, look, I mean, Tom Hanks is so obscenely funny that him getting, or famous rather, not funny, that him getting corona made quite a few people go, this corona thing might be real.
Yeah.
Just like, okay.
It freaked people out.
It did. Tom and Rita? Oh,
yeah,
really?
Both. Yeah, Rita Wilson, yeah. I like how people were like, God wanted you, or the world wanted you to take it seriously, so they gave it to Tom Hanks so that you would listen and pay attention. I'm like, yeah, fair point. I liked it.
It happens to someone else, and you're like, maybe you already have an inherent thing that you don't like about that individual, so it can just kind of confirm suspicion. But Tom Hanks, be like Henry Winkler. All you've ever heard is he's the nicest guy you're ever going to meet.
Yeah.
Or like Adam Sandler, supposed to be, incredibly generous.
Yeah.
So anyway, Tom Hanks, Big. Of course, it was the number one. No brainer.
Yeah.
I got nothing to say about a movie that has already been said a billion times.
Yeah, just that if you guys haven't seen that one in a while, do yourself a favor and find it on a streaming service. It still holds up. It is still as genuine and charming and honest. As
it's kind of like a little Christmassy vibe on some level to it.
You could argue that. Absolutely. Yeah, especially with gimbals in the toy store and all of that.
Yeah. FAO Schwartz and
FAO Schwartz, you're right. Yeah.
It's not exactly Christmas, but it's a little more Christmassy than your average fare.
Sure. And there's like John Hurd's in it, Elizabeth Perkins. Yes, Elizabeth Perkins. It's a very sweet movie. It still holds up. And Loja, that whole scene still works.
Loja.
And it's all because Tom Hanks is just so.
I make toys for kids.
Help me out.
Yeah.
Dance on the piano. But all of it still works.
You're right. I'm going to make you a VP of development.
That's how it works. How easy it is in the 80s.
This is me smiling and grimacing.
And Mercedes Rule, who plays his mom, which I told.
Oh yeah, good pull.
Yeah, totally forgot about that. Anyway, all right. So that's our separate lists for the top 10 body swap movies or conscious swap movies, and we're gonna compile our list here and do it. Let me go get the bongos while you start off, man. Forgot to pull them out. Okay.
All right. I was typing while you're gone. Sorry to the audio listeners. I was not just jabbering away.
That's all right.
So I've got Big at number 1.
Yep.
Jumanji at 2.
Yep.
John Malkovich at 3.
Yep.
Freaky Friday at 4.
Okay. That works.
Because that is now our shared 1 through 4.
Yes. Agreed.
Okay. So vice versa, you bumped off. Where did you put Heaven Can Wait?
No, I took Heaven Can Wait off because of Malkovich.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you don't have vice versa. So we have Shrek the Third, All of Me, and The Change Up in common.
Yes.
Where do you have those?
I have Shrek the Third at 8.
Uh-huh.
I have The Change Up at 7 and All of Me at 10.
Okay. And you had Shrek the Third at 8?
Yes, I did.
All right. So it goes Shrek, Change Up. We'll take a break because All of Me will both have lower.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I got vice versa at 5. You got anything to beat that?
13 going on 30 at 5. But
movie.
Look at you just typing. Look at you just fucking typing.
13 going on. I've been saying it's probably a better movie.
Oh,
I put it there.
Okay. And then what? And then vice versa.
Vice versa, and then we'll do All of Me. We have one left. What's your next highest?
Face Off at 6.
I have Heaven Can Wait at 6. I will say this. It was nominated for 9 Oscars.
Now you I thought it was a weak ass year for film. I heard
that being said, I'm not saying it wasn't deserving of some Oscar nominations. The idea of 9 seems excessive to me.
You're fucking shameless. I love it. All right, yeah, I'm cool with that because I had it on my list originally, and I know it's fine. It's fine. Heaven Can Wait's fine. For all you John Woo fans, I apologize. I didn't fight harder for that one.
Had John Woo's, Face Off been nominated for 10 Oscars, Finn
maybe.
Probably would have made this list.
All right, let's do this thing. The top 10 body swap movies, Jeff. At number 10,
Heaven Can Wait.
At number 9,
All of Me.
At number 8,
Vice versa.
At number 7,
13 Going on 30.
At number 6,
The Change Up.
At number 5,
Shrek the Third.
At number 4,
Freaky Friday.
At number 3,
Being John Malkovich.
At number 2,
Jumanji.
and our number 1 body swap movie is
Big.
Yeah, Josh Baskin, I think his name is.
I think you are correct. Yes.
Some things get stuck in there. Yeah, great stuff, great list, a lot of great movies. And for some of you who've maybe haven't seen Heaven Can Wait or All of Me, maybe we talked you into giving it a shot on some random afternoon and seeing if it's not as dated as it might be. And some Shrek shout out as well. Some Shrek love and some Jumanji love throughout this list. So there you go.
It's a little bit all over the place. Some movies we never talked about. And, at least one we've talked about a lot, but that's not bad for considering how long we've been doing this.
Hell yeah. I agree 1,000%.
All
right.
So yeah, we got Boss Hog topics coming up the next 2 weeks. So our thanks to everybody that supports us over at patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. If you can, support the show over there, it would mean the world to us. We'd thoroughly appreciate it. And if you can't, then tell a friend about the show or give us a review on iTunes. Give it a like, a retweet, whatever you can do. We thoroughly appreciate it. It is the season to give, to be jolly. So, you know what I mean? Let's go out there. Let's deck those halls with the top 10 is what I'm saying. And none of this makes sense, but damn it. Is it festive? You're goddamn right it is. You can follow me anywhere at Matt Knows. Check out Settle the Score, and Dropping Dimes will be coming back very shortly. And that is it for me this week.
Absolutely. One last question. Do you think, real quick, Harden stays in Houston or not?
It depends on if Philly is willing to give up Ben Simmons and something else to get him.
Okay. All right.
Because they do not want to trade with Philadelphia, but that looks to be the best offer potentially on the table, unless they want to get, 3/4 and a dime or 2 dimes back.
For Harden. I would not take Simmons over Harden, but I don't run a franchise. You can follow me, and that'll be back soon for Matt Knows Dropping Dimes. You can follow me at The Roca Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Of course, come on by to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Roca Says, and all the other podcasts I got going on, like the Cinephiles and Geek Buddies. So come and be involved in all of that. And of course, our YouTube channel for the top 10. Don't forget to subscribe to that in case you're listening to us on audio there on the podcast form. You can also go to YouTube and subscribe. You can turn that bell off if you don't want to know when we're dropping new things, but at least your subscription matters to put our numbers up and get our numbers higher and keep the monetization going on that channel. So please go and be a part of that, and be safe, wear the mask, practice social distancing if you'd like. Because we want you to keep being a fan of the top 10. And as Matt said, please, it's a giving season. Come become a patron. Come be a part of all the things. I mean, Golden Ticket is wrapping up. We got the Topic Thunder we do every week. Give you a lot of content every week for you to enjoy here on the top 10. So please come on, be a part of the Patreon, and support the show throughout this time. All right, that's it, right? We're out of here, right?
Yes, sirree.
All right, take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you next time on another episode of the Top 10.